First up, my name's Diana, also known as your girl D. Second, I've been a Samsung fan since the actual Captivate. That's how far back we go, so I feel that I'm entitled to go ahead and do this review. 3, if you're not here for me, my shenanigans, my opinions, or flagrant use of the word motherfucker, just go ahead and click the X right now. Okay? Okay. But if you are here for a actual good, unbiased, real review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, welcome. We're happy to have you. So, first and foremost, preceding this, I will go ahead and link for you here my conversation with UPS in regards to monitoring the shipment and the lack of movement from Best Buy's distribution center, wherever my Note 8 was before it actually got to me. And also the fact that the phones were, the release date was September the 15th, and I pre-ordered it. I was under the misconception that when you pre-order something that it would be there on or before the actual release date. At least that's how it's been historically whenever I've pre-ordered direct with the carrier. This is my first time actually doing a pre-order with Best Buy, and my last time subsequently because of how that wound up. And you can go ahead and view that video at your leisure. So, I'm going to bring you for the Galaxy Note 8, the bad, the tolerable, and the good. Usually the good, bad, the ugly. Nah, fuck that shit. Okay, so the bad. What it is that I am experiencing right now, Wi-Fi connectivity. I swear to God. I don't know if, and it is a potential that maybe I have a phone that has a bad signal, bad radio in it, but for some reason, I have a very difficult time staying connected to my home network. It doesn't seem to have the same difficulty at other Wi-Fi networks. I don't have anyone else around with a Note 8 to actually come to my house and say, hey, Diana, let me connect to your Wi-Fi to see if this is just a random off issue or if it's something that actually could be affecting Note 8s all around the world. I don't know. But it's just weird. And the thing is, I've checked the Pixel. The Pixel stays connected. I checked the Note 7. Yes, we still have this motherfucker. Ha ha! It stays connected to the Wi-Fi. Even brought out the Galaxy S7 Edge. This stays connected to the Wi-Fi. But the Note 8, I swear, I don't know what it is or why, but it has such a difficulty staying connected consistently to my Wi-Fi network. I have checked the router. I'm running 2 bandwidths. I'm running the 2.5, 2.4, and the 5 gigahertz networks. I checked my router software. There's not an upgrade that's available right now, so I've got the latest version of the actual router software. I know that there were some outages that I think Charter, who is also known as Spectrum, who also bought out Time Warner. I know that they had some outages recently, but it's just a very perplexing situation. I've tampered with high performance mode, and I seem to have a better consistent connection with that. In addition to that, I also did a SIM pull just straight out the gate, and I had a good solid connection for about maybe 2 hours, and then after that, it's like, hey, guess what? We don't want to fuck with your Wi-Fi network, and it's really frustrating because I am a heavy data user. I do a lot of streaming. As you are watching this here on YouTube, I also will go ahead and upload as well too. I'm active on all social media platforms, and so to actually be kicked in data overage charges, which wasn't necessarily a big deal since I also do use my phone as a hotspot here and there, but to be like 5 gigs into data overage charges. You know, Verizon just wanted to go ahead and just like, you know what? Fuck everything about your bill. We are just going to go ahead and sexually assault it. There. Is that too much? You know what, it was. But I think my bill is a pretty good inadequate victim in regards to that metaphor. So yeah, okay. So Verizon was pretty much just like, fuck you and your bill and these overage charges. We're about to make all of the bank. We just gonna pimp your ass out. And I'm just like, I gotta pay it. So anyways, so that's an ongoing issue that I've been experiencing, and I'm going to continue to research it until I have a resolution. And so I will update in the description box if I do come about with a solid resolution or that. But second, another thing on my bad list, face recognition. Motherfucker, I wear makeup. And I set up the face recognition when I didn't have on makeup. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, what's up? You know, I'm looking like, hey, scan my face, you know. And my dad was talking shit about me because I don't really wear makeup to work very often. So I was going out one day and he's like, where the fuck are you going? And I was like, I'm going out. And he's like, damn, you gotta get all gussied up and everything. I'm like, you know, that's my standard. He's like, yo, don't go to work looking like that. You know what, old ass man? You sure the fuck are right. So for an entire week straight, I wore a full face every single day to work. And I see, well, I'm lazy in the mornings. I don't like doing this in the mornings. We're filming this video at midnight right now, but still, listen. Anyway, so I set up the face recognition when I wasn't wearing makeup. And then when I was, my phone was like, we don't know who you are. So then I was like, okay, cool. Let me put on makeup and then set up the face recognition so you can see what I'm supposed to look like on a regular basis, maybe? And the face recognition is like, I mean, you know, you might resemble the person that we may have stored on the phone, but, you know, give us your fingerprint just so we can double check. Like, motherfucker, really? I mean, at least the shit is secure, but come the fuck on now. Come on now. Are eyelashes really that deep? Is lipstick really that deep? I mean, I understand that they're not regularly blue, but still. Now, the iris scanner is a better alternative naturally because, look, fake eyelashes or not, you're gonna know what the fuck my eyes look like, okay? The fingerprint scanner is great. And then also another thing that I discovered was directional unlock, where you could just go ahead and, you know, up, down, left, right, and select. Big up to the 80 babies who might know where that came from. Anyway, so moving on. Next thing that is on my bad list, Bixby and the voice unlock. Hi, Bixby. Hey, Bixby. Good evening, Bixby. Little bitch. Now, I'm hearing that you can make adjustments in the actual, you can make adjustments in the settings to your voice sensitivity and actually teach it to understand how it is that you speak, the cadence in your voice, the tone, but okay. Now, one thing I do want to note is that because Bixby is somewhat controversial, there are some package disablers that are out there that you can go ahead and embark on to go ahead and try to get rid of some of that bloatware that's pre-installed on your phone. But you want to go ahead and take advantage of them while it's still early after the release of the phone. Because just like, what was that damn disabler that we all used with the Note 7 Rebels last year and that shit, and then they sold out to Samsung or else they would lose their licensing in the Google Play Store. I can't remember what it was, but there was some kind of disabler that was like, you know what, we can't not block updates per Samsung, so you may want to just find some of those. If I can find some good ones, I'll link in the description box for you. Okay, cool. Next up, another thing that is on my bad list is the 14-day return period. Now, it is crucial to go ahead and do as much full functionality testing of your phone as you possibly can in that small window of time, because that's when you can go ahead and get it back to your carrier or your service provider without that restocking fee. Of course, your phone is going to be carried under some type of manufacturer's warning if there genuinely is a defect, but considering the Note 7 debacle and the strenuous testing and rigorous amounts of troubleshooting to ensure that there wasn't going to be anything kind of funky or out of whack with this particular phone, I doubt that. The signal issue that I'm having with Wi-Fi connectivity may be something worth exploring for that. I don't know, but that's going to be my last resort if I can't actually get anything changed for it. But and one reason why this review is late is because I didn't want to just go ahead and use the phone for 2 days and then come and tell you about it. No, I wanted to actually make sure I took my time, that I got to know everything about my phone that I possibly could. And there's still things that I'm learning now, even almost a month later. But I'm having a good time with the phone. I do overall. I love it. It's great. It does take a little bit of an adjustment period, and we'll get to that here in my tolerable list. But as for that 14-day return period, if you're thinking about getting it, or if you already own it, make sure you go through everything that you possibly can, your connectivity, internet performance, your speed test. Make sure that you are okay on your actual network provider as well as your Wi-Fi, that your texts are good, your voicemail is good, full functionality. Go through everything that you possibly can as quickly as you possibly can to try to identify any kind of underlining or low-key issues before that period passes off. And then if that period passes off, then sorry. But anyways, so next up on my bad list, full case, full protection of protective cases, the full screen ones, the ones that actually, you know what, let me set this phone in here and then flip this cover over and then go ahead, smack it, flip it, rub it down to ensure that, you know, this motherfucker is going to be great. Those case protectors seem to limit the functionality of the phone, and the responsiveness as well too. Word up to CJ up in Chi-Town. Hey boo, how you doing? You cute. But it seems to limit some functionality of the touchscreen, and I personally, I don't use a screen protector for this very reason. I actually, on my Note 7, I did leave the one that came with the phone on there just because I was not going to let anything happen to this phone if at all possible. But on the S7 Edge, as well as my Pixel, on the Note 8, on the S5 that I had, even on the Galaxy Note Edge that I had, I didn't use a screen protector just because I'm that adept with my phone, knock on wood, I am that adept with my phone to where I'm not going to scratch it. I may drop it, but I'm not the type to go ahead and scratch it. You know, like, we got some big hands, but they're not that dangerous unless you want to go ahead and cross me, and then I can go ahead and fuck you up one time. But they're not that dangerous for a phone. Okay, cool. And then last but not least on my bad list, the rewards and the free gifts. Now, some people elected to get the 256 gigabyte memory card in conjunction with their wireless charger. Some people elected to get their Gear 360 camera. I wanted to go ahead and get the camera because I've got memory, like, word up the Micro Center, you can get memory cards for so cheap there. Listen, now, some Gear 360s, from what I've read, I did a little bit of research on XDA developers, some Gear 360s were not powering on, which was the strangest thing ever. Like, you would go ahead and use the native charger that came with it, and it wouldn't actually do anything once plugged in. So there was a workaround to where you could use use a portable charger, since it typically is a different amp and wattage, to go ahead and just jump start it, and then you can go ahead and switch back to the full the native charger that it came with. But I don't have my Gear 360 to test this because it went from allow 2 to 4 weeks for shipping to allow 6 to 8. Like, you slow ass motherfuckers. I mean, I understand, you know, beggars can't be choosy, and free is free, but also at the same time, as much money as it is that I dropped on this goddamn phone, you gonna give me all of the benefits and the perks and the freebies that I want in a timely manner. God damn it, Samsung. Speaking of, let's move to the tolerable list that I have. And first up on that is the cost of the phone. 900 what? Nine. Like, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. A math joke, you're here for it. Now, granted, with all of the different financing options that there are out there, and that was one of the reasons why I actually was driven to go ahead and purchase from Best Buy as it was, because they were offering $150 off of the phone, whereas if I purchase direct from Verizon, I have to go ahead and just pay that straight up. 9. The cost is insane, but for those who truly want this, they're going to go ahead and make it work. They'll make it happen. Shit, I did. Next up on the tolerable list, the phone size itself, because we've got a little bit of a size increase between the 7 and the 8 we do. Okay. But my biggest issue was actually going from the Pixel to this, because my 7 Verizon was a hater and went ahead and just shut that shit off, like, you know, y'all some bitches, but that's okay. You already know how I feel. You're still bitches. Okay. My biggest adjustment was going from the Pixel XL to this, because even though the Pixel is a fairly large size phone, it's the Note 8 is still taller. And the biggest thing that I would have to get adjusted to is that the fingerprint scanner for the Pixel is right here on the back, whereas the fingerprint scanner here on the back, but in a different area. And with the Pixel, it feels natural. I could pick the phone up with this hand or pick it up also with my right hand and interchangeably switch out to unlock it. Whereas for this one, it's just straight up over here on... This is my right. Nope. Yeah. My right. Y'all's left. Yeah. Yeah. No. I know directions. Fuck y'all. Anyways, it's all the way over here, which means you don't have to, if you're picking it up with the opposite hand, you don't have to move as much. But, and I do also recommend that if you're going to go ahead and store fingerprints, that you store both your phalanges here, so that you're like, oh, I'm cooking right now with this hand. Let me go ahead and open up with this. No? Okay, all right. But then I'll go ahead and use, you know, the iris unlock or the face unlock if it wants to recognize my goddamn eyelashes. Little bitch ass scanner. Anyways, it is a little bit of an adjustment when you're coming from a slightly smaller device, but after time, you will get used to it and then it'll become easier. Speaking of the fingerprint scanner location, I am okay with this. It's only a little bit off from where my actual Pixel XL was, so I was already used to going here to the back and unlocking the phone in that manner. On the Note 7, let's not drop things. On the Note 7, the fingerprint scanner was here at the bottom, which, depending on how you're holding the phone, was cause for it to... That exactly. So, okay, but I'm okay with it. Now, some people had an issue with it because this was also introduced with the S8 and the S8 Plus. But for me, going from a pure vanilla Android phone back to Samsung and TouchWiz and the Samsung design, it wasn't that much of a difficulty for me in getting adjusted to unlocking the phone, just moving from here to here, basically. Another item on my tolerable list, the Bixby button. Just... like, how many times have I hit Bixby instead of the bottom or the down volume button? Just really? So, now there are items out there. Like I said, there are some package disabler's out there. There are third-party apps that can go ahead and remap the functionality of this Bixby button. Once I get used to actually getting my phone down a little bit and then hitting the volume button, because I tend to hit it the most only whenever I'm on Snapchat, because I don't like to actually, whenever I'm on Snapchat, I don't like to actually use this button to go ahead and record. I like to go ahead and actually use the volume button to go ahead and film my snap. But I've done that a ton of times where I've brought up Bixby, or I've tried to turn the volume down if I'm in the middle of watching something and it's a little bit too loud and Bixby's there. I need to explore some other methods of bringing up Bixby besides this button that's here on the side, but I'm okay with it because Bixby is relatively new. I'm still used to Google and saying, okay, Google, and my phone recognizing me in that way. Google and Bixby, they're not playing nice right now, but, you know, that's something that I can explore a little bit later. Another item on my tolerable list, the full screen mode. This is great for pictures. It's okay for some games. I've been killing it in Super Mario Run these days, and Remix 10, by the way, download that. That is super fucking fun. And full screen works great for that. Pokemon Go, been killing it as well too, getting back into it. And I like how you know, it does say whenever you do enter full screen mode for a game that if anything's distorted, to just go ahead and get back out if it doesn't seem to work as it was or it should have been. So I appreciate that. Snapchat, it's okay for whenever I record, but whenever I'm using any of the actual frames or borders, because it is in full screen and my phone's bigger than the average size phone, there's like that gap of space on top and below. So it's like, okay, I want to use a cute border, and I thought the mall and I'm buying shit that I don't need to buy or whatever. I want to use a cute border, but then you see a hella picture and only a little bitty ass border. So whatever. Borders matter too, okay? Borders matter. Borders lives matter, all right? Next on my tolerable list, the home button, which is wild as shit. It took me a while to get used to this. That you're just literally pressing and it's so wild to me. But also I'm heavy-handed as shit, and I feel like long term that could potentially be a problem. Samsung seems to have a good grip on it thus far, but you know, that's another thing that's on my tolerable list where I like it, I'm okay with it, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it later on in the future. You know, hopefully the functionality of the phone will still remain the same, but that's just a mild concern that I have. And then the last thing that's on my tolerable list, the speaker quality. What the fuck is this? What is this? What the fuck is this? It is one little speaker right there, right? Because we got, you know, your microphone, you got your speaker, you got the S Pen, you got 3.5 millimeter jack, which thank you Samsung for keeping that, but that's it. Like, now granted, on the S7 Edge, we had one speaker. Okay, cool. On the Note 7, we had one speaker. Okay, cool. On the Pixel, we had two at the bottom, and then low-key, the earpiece would double as a speaker as well. So technically the Pixel had three. And that's when I'm coming from, is that the Pixel had a much better audio experience than that of this Note 8. I notice it, like, you know, if I'm in a quiet environment, cool, it's blasting. But if I'm in a loud or a noisy environment, literally I need to be right up on my phone in order to actually listen to whatever's being said. And I find that inconvenient, I'm not gonna lie, but it is tolerable because there are workarounds for it. There are apps out there that can help to improve the overall loudness. Now it just seems like, you know, we should be having a second speaker by now, Samsung. I understand that, you know, y'all want to conserve space and everything for the design of the phone and shit like that. You don't want to condense things like you did for the Note 7, but also at the same time, you know, a second speaker would be useful, you know, even if you put that shit at the bottom. Now, the drawback to this, though, Google, with them having two speakers at the bottom, their 3.5 millimeter was actually up here at the top, which interfered with some camera viewing and also, you know, using the front facing camera and such like that. So I do appreciate that. I just think, and I know that actually I was reading about it because they have achieved root for the Note 8. So it is something that you could, if you willing to fuck up your warranty, and you're covered, if you're willing to go ahead and fuck up your warranty and trip Knox and you want to go ahead and root that phone, then yeah, go for it. But not trying to do that right now because root is such a high risk. So I don't know, something to look into. But again, it's tolerable because I know that there's at least third-party apps out there that can help without root. Now, what's good about the phone, right? What's good? So the S Pen, I am so pleased. It has it's more responsive and it is so incredibly detailed when it comes to what it is that you're writing, what it is that you're jotting down. I'm like, look it. Like, I'm really pleased with overall how well the S Pen performs. The only thing, and I didn't want to include this in the tolerable list because I'm still impressed with the quality of the phone or whatever. This is more so something with the overall design of the phone. If you drop this bitch, the S Pen's like, bye. Suicide mission. Let's go. And whenever you drop it, the pen becomes dislodged. There's been times where I picked up my phone and my S Pen has been partially out like that a ton of times. Recently, I was at Gap and I dropped my phone and the pen just came out completely. I do appreciate the little tracker that it has to where if you get too far from the pen, the phone's vibrating like, bitch, where the fuck is my partner at? Like, bring them home. So I do appreciate that, but literally, and shout out to the associates at Gap who were literally moving fixtures out of the way because I'm like, you know, it's like a $50 stylist to replace this. We can't leave without this. And they found it like 3 feet away from where I dropped the actual phone. It was quite a jump. But, you know, the phone knew that the shit was nearby. So I do appreciate that, and that's why I didn't want to list it under the tolerable or the bad listing. Next up, the camera. Son! Yo! The low light performance, the dual cameras, the full screen mode. Have y'all enabled that little floating button, the floating camera button? Because you know it's a big ass phone and everything, right? Right, it is a big ass phone. But you know you can go ahead and get that other button and everything. You know, just go ahead and move that button wherever it is that you want. So you can go ahead and just snap that picture there. And of course it still has the voice recognition too if you want to go ahead and use the traditional capture, smile, cheese, shit like that. You can use the volume keys if you want. You could even remap your Bixby button to go ahead and serve as a camera button if you really wanted to. The live focus was awesome. Now, when it comes to the camera performance within apps, there's still some bullshit. Snapchat's camera. If you have adequate lighting, you're great. If you're in low lighting, it's still bullshit. Because all the iPhone users always talk shit about how the Snapchat users with Androids or your text messages if they turn green and shit. Like, fuck y'all. Can it just be equal opportunity cameras? So I like the floating camera button because this thing is so damn big, at least within the native camera app. And then also as an alternative to Snapchat, since Snapchat's camera is so iffy here or there are some downloadable stickers that you can use kind of like filters if you like, direct from the Galaxy App Store. Now, Instagram's camera within that app, still stellar, still very high quality, whether it's low lighting or not, it still is overall, forehead itches, sorry. Overall, that camera still performs great. And, you know, the regular camera itself is awesome. I'm very pleased with the pictures and the quality of, the pictures and the performance of the camera as it is. It's lightning fast. One thing I don't care for is like the struggle. One thing I don't care for is that the timer, unless I haven't customized it yet, the timer should be able to, I should be able to set the timer up at the top. I actually have to go to settings and then change it there. From what I'm reading, it may not actually be nested there for a reason, that they ran out of room before I get home. Oh, yeah, we're lasting for a full 12 hours. We're lasting longer than some of you wannabes. That was too much. Not sorry. So, next up, the bezel-less screen and the display. Like, and can we just look at her real quick? Just, hey boo, how you doing? You good? Yeah, you good. Now, granted, it is a fingerprint magnet, but that is the same of the Note 7 fingerprint magnet. Hell, even the Pixel itself. Like, this top part would be, what was that? Oh. The top part would attract fingerprints. And then, of course, going back onto this S7 Edge, fingerprint magnet. So, that's, if that bothers you, then you shouldn't have a Samsung phone, because that's been the direction for a long time now. But I love how literally almost the entire screen can be used in some way, shape, or form. Like, that's damn ridiculous and pretty much unheard of in a lot of things now. Oh, wait, no. We didn't want that. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. Sorry. Oh, another thing that I could like as well is how even though these capacitive touch buttons are in a certain order down here, you can go ahead and modify them to be in whatever reverse order that you'd like, which is something that I enjoyed coming from the Pixel because they're in the opposite order there. And speaking of the display, next up on my good list, the edge display and the edge lighting. So I've been playing around trying to customize this as best as I would like. And right now I have my edge lighting to be customized to match the color of the app. Now, when they first introduced this on the Note Edge itself, if you got a certain notification from one of your favorites who was on your Edge panel people list or whatever, then it would glow to match up whatever color they were. So like purple was my best friend in Atlanta and orange was my best friend here in Springfield. Now you can actually customize it to be where all your Edge notifications are the same color, only certain notifications are one color, or what I have is for the Edge to actually match the app color. So Snapchat is yellow, my messages are orange, Facebook is blue, yada yada yada, whatever. I also like with the Edge lighting as well as those notifications that as they pop up here, it's very discreet. So it's still enough to where, okay, you can get the general gist of the message or the communication, whatever it may be. But also at the same time, it's still discreet enough to where, you know, somebody's looking over your shoulder like, motherfucker, bag, this is not your business. Mind your business. Okay. Okay. So I do like that because, you know, for a lot of the older phones, if something were to pop up, then you would just get a pop-up that would block part of the screen. And that does still happen whenever you actually receive a phone call. You know, it does still pop up on this, maybe this top fourth of the screen, but you can actually just swipe that away and then just I was in the middle of playing Super Mario Run. I'm not gonna lie, somebody interrupted my goddamn game and I was doing good. But I was able to go ahead, swipe away their call for a hot second, pause the game, and then answer the phone. Even though I'm sure it would have automatically paused if I would have picked up the phone as it is anyways. But we're not trying to lose this progress. Oh. Next up on my good list, the security options, which is like, listen, this phone is a side chick's dream. You don't even understand. Like, back in my whole prime, I actually was adept enough to go ahead and have my Google Voice number on here so I could get text messages and calls for the Google Voice number in case I didn't want to give my real phone number out to the booty call list and whatnot. And then still keep the real phone number for the potentials and, you know, the star players. We would go ahead and move them from the bench onto the starting lineup, stuff like that. Like, you know what? You can go ahead and communicate me with the real number and not just the app and shit like that. You know. I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. I just maybe use it for, you know, whole purposes. I'm sure people actually do still utilize things of that nature for actual purposes. But dude, you can actually log into 2 different sets of social media. I could have my whole Snapchat account and my regular Snapchat account. I could have my whole Instagram and I could have my regular Instagram. And then somebody trying to come around looking like, hey, what you doing? Like, I'm being holy. Hey, what you doing over there on your phone, booth? I ain't like nothing. I'm over here just, you know, saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled. And then as Hefty goes around the corner, go ahead and start sending them dirty selfies. I'm not sorry. I know somebody does that shit. I know somebody out there does this shit. I'm not sorry. And I'm not a side chick either. I'm a main chick kind of person. Nobody's side chick. But if I was still out actively perusing, ruining relationships and shit like that, this phone would be amazing for that. But I also like the secure folder functionality as well too. For a very long time, I used a third-party app called Vault, and it was a subscription service too. So you had to pay a certain dollar amount every month in order to go ahead and keep your items safe within that Vault and their cloud server. Which we're not going to talk about what's out there, but at the same time, I think this is great. Now, if in the event that you lose your device, the restoration process, that's something to be explored. But again, just for the general premise, the ability to log into multiple social media accounts without having to switch from one account to the other within the actual app. Like I know, like I can switch between, if I wanted to convert my Instagram account to a business one, then I could convert, or I could switch between my personal Instagram, and then if I had a business one, I can go ahead and switch between the two. I know that functionality is there, but literally without having to make a change within the app, like you can just go ahead and keep private mode for whatever it is you want to keep it for. I think that's dope. And then last but not least on the good list, which probably is standard for everybody, but just the speed and the overall performance of the phone. Like, there's no lag. We're rocking a Snapdragon 835 processor. It's got 6 gigabytes of RAM. It's got 64 gigabytes of onboard storage with expandable storage up to, I know we can get a 256 gigabyte SD card in there. I've heard we can go up to 400. Because I know terabytes are next on the horizon when it comes to micro SD storage, but I know, like, right now the more popular card is the 256 or the 128 gig, since Samsung likes to go ahead and gouge us for our free shit and everything. Promise us that 256 and just go ahead and cut that shit in half. Like, you know what? We understand that you wanted the free shit, so you can't be mad about it because it's free anyways. But we're not gonna give you what you want. So, I am not besmitten or impressed by that free aspect, because like I said, I got a memory card in this phone, I got a memory card in this phone, I got a memory card in this phone. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I actually moved from the Pixel back to the Note 8, is because this has onboard storage of 128 gigs, but that also is melded and married between my actual Google Cloud and Drive too. So it's like, I continued to run out of space because I would film on this device, and filming in 4K and HD, those are big file sizes. So I can go ahead, film on this device, film in 4K and HD, and then that shit is saved to the memory card. And then from there, I can go ahead and synchronize it to Google Drive or just move it onto my hard drive if I want. So when it comes to the storage, I'm all right. I'm not really tripping, but just the speed and the overall performance of the phone, this is amazing. This phone has only frozen on me once. One time has it frozen, and I actually had to do the down button and the power button to go ahead and hold that down for like maybe 16 seconds in order to get it into the upload mode, because that was just the strangest thing. Like, it just went to a completely black screen, and I pressed the home button repeatedly, and I could feel that the phone was recognizing I was pressing the home phone, that the phone was recognizing that I was pressing the button, but there was nothing happening on the screen. That was back on the 30th, and nothing has happened since then. And I'm up to date on all of my updates. I haven't downloaded anything outrageous or strange or anything. No third-party apps outside of the Google Play Store. So, my phone is still fairly safe and healthy. So I guess that was just maybe a one-off situation. But be that as it may, overall, the performance of the phone is absolutely stellar. And so this concludes Diana's Note 8 review. And I hope that you find it helpful. If you didn't, that's fine. There's an X in the corner for you to click. Go away. It's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings in any way, shape, or form. But as a technology fan, and like I said, I've been rocking with Actually, let me take that back. I've been rocking with Samsung's phones since Samsung's had a damn Windows phone way back in the day. That's how long I've been rocking with Samsung. And then they moved from Windows to the Captivate and the Exhilarate, and because what was it? The 4 carriers had their own phone. Then there was the S2. Oh my gosh, because Sprint, their Galaxy phone had the slide up keyboard and shit like that. And that was back when Angry Birds first came on the scene. That's how long I've been rocking with Samsung. And that's how long I will continue to rock with Samsung, as long as they're putting out stellar, awesome devices. Now, as someone who left the Google Pixel XL, I still plan to keep this in my arsenal as a backup phone if anything may or should happen to this one, because, you know, I mean, yeah, we got the S7 Edge, and, you know, yeah, we got the Note 7, but, you know, whatever. I got all these, and I'm keeping all of them. You can fight me if you think otherwise. But as someone who was a Pixel user and decided to ultimately forego the Pixel for the Note 8, the storage was the biggest concern for me. It really was, just because this has, even though it has 128 gigs of onboard storage, I was constantly, as being a power user, I was constantly just cleaning stuff out, deleting things, reallocating things, or whatever, and that gets annoying after time. Plus, I miss this stylus. I did. And I miss being able to palm the swipe for a screenshot. I'm not gonna lie. And I want to be able to write shit down. And, you know, like, do you understand how cool it is to have a motherfucking stylus and be sitting up in a meeting and pretending like you are just enthralled in everything that they're saying in the meeting, and you just up in here playing games and shit. You look like you official, just got Candy Crush up on this bitch or whatever. Come on now. Come on now. Okay. All right. I'm gonna chill and go to bed. But anyways, I'm a fan of Samsung, and I hope that you are too. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you have any questions or suggestions, hit your girl up in the comment section. If you are new here, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you back on my channel. But if you're not here for me, my shenanigans, my opinions, this blue lipstick, this long-ass video, or flagrant use of the word motherfucker, that's fine. There is an X. Hitting that corner off you to click. Get your life, get the entire fuck up off my channel. Like, for real, go away. We're not here for you. But if you are here for my shenanigans, you are beautiful, amazing, wonderful, spectacular. And if no one else has told you, I appreciate you. There's a ton of stuff for you to watch. If you're into beauty vlogging and makeup videos, head over to the makeup and girly stuff playlist. If you want some spoken word, head up to that playlist. If you just want some regular online shenanigans or whatever, I got something for you, I'm sure. But welcome to my channel. If you haven't already been here before, I hope that you go ahead and find something that you like. You guys take care.